I don't know about you, but sometimes my life can get super overwhelming. I work full-time, plus I'm a part-time PhD student, and of course there's chores around the house, cleaning, cooking, all of that stuff. I'm very grateful for all of the things, the opportunities that I have in my life, the great people that help me out. Sometimes it does get a bit much. What I want to share with you today is one technique I've used in all areas of my life that's really helped me maximize my productivity, reduce wasted time, and given me a lot more free time to do the things that I want to do. This technique is called the Pomodoro Technique. It was invented in the 1980s by a graduate student, Francisco Cirillo. And the reason why it's called Pomodoro is because Francisco Cirillo used a tomato timer for this specific technique. It's been used since the 1980s by millions of people all around the world. Okay, so how it works. Traditionally, the Pomodoro technique works like this. Take the Pomodoro timer, you set it for 25 minutes, you work on something, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you repeat. I've added a few things that I think are really helpful. What I do first is take about 1 to 2 minutes and set a specific goal. And after you set that goal, of course, you're going to work on that goal for about 25 minutes to an hour. So for some people, 25 minutes works great. For others, they have maybe a lower concentration span. Some people have a higher concentration span. If you're doing something that requires higher level cognitive function, like learning something, your productivity is going to go down after about an hour. If you are a person that has a lot of thoughts, a lot of internal distractions while you work on things, what I suggest is having a blank sheet of paper next to you to jot down all those things that are on your mind. So whether it's something simple like I have to pick up socks from Target, or I need to work on my math homework for this other class, write all those things down and get them out of your head and onto paper. I'm not saying ignore what is on that paper, but what I'm saying is there's a time and a place to deal with those things. You can designate a certain time at the end of the day. Some therapists refer to this as worry time, but it doesn't just have to be things that you're worried about. It can be anything. Something else you want to consider is your external distractions. Your environment is going to be really important. If you know that you're not going to be productive with the TV in front of you, really no one should. Certain people around you, a certain location isn't going to be the best for your productivity. Make sure that you're in a place where you can really just focus on your goal. You definitely don't want to do things like work on your bed. You want to reserve your bed just for sleep. That's something for another video we'll talk about. And then after you're done working on your goal, the timer goes off. So what you'll do next is then take a 5 to 10 minute break. So if you worked for 25 minutes, it's probably going to be more like a 5-minute break. If you worked for an hour, it might be more like a 10-minute break. During those breaks, you don't want to do something that's going to take you out of complete focus on what you're working on if you're going to jump back and do another round of Pomodoro. And this is something that a lot of clients and students find difficulty with, is taking breaks. People are afraid to take breaks because if they take a 5-minute break and they go on their cell phone, or they're scrolling on Instagram, a lot of times that 5-minute break will turn into a 15-minute break, will turn into a half hour, an hour, and then by the time they know it, their whole day is wasted. So really consider taking a break that will be productive. So what are some productive breaks? Examples of those I've heard from students and clients. I had one client that really wanted to incorporate more physical activity into her day, so she would do squats and jumping jacks and just running or walking, jumping on a treadmill, something like that. Coloring can be a great activity because it still kind of relaxing your mind, but it's not totally taking you out of work mode, and you have to focus on being in the present moment. You're coloring in the line. It could be getting some water, getting some tea, something like that. If you have any other ideas, write them down in the comments below so we can all learn from those great ideas you might have. Then after you're done with your break, if you are studying or working on something that requires a lot of attention, something you have to remember, I'd suggest taking 5 minutes to do a quick review and then repeat the Pomodoro. You can do as many Pomodoros as you want and then take a longer break. Also, there's some really great apps that work well with the Pomodoro technique. One of my favorites is called Forest. You can use it with the iPhone, I think also with Android. And how it works is you set your timer, and so say you want to work for 25 minutes, you write your goal in, and then you plant a seed. During that time while you're working, that seed will grow into a tree. If you do go on your phone, you're distracted, that tree will die. So it makes the productivity kind of into a game, and I'm sure there's tons of other ones. If you do need to use your phone for the timer, I'd highly suggest getting an app that you can use with the Pomodoro technique. An example of how you could use this technique if you are a student, college student, say you have a 10-page paper you have to write. So 10-page paper could seem super overwhelming, right? But first, make out a plan, okay? What are the things that need to get done in order to fulfill that goal? So in order to write that 10-page paper, I'm not going to just start writing. I'm going to think about all the things I need to do. So that could include doing some research, coming up with a title, brainstorming, coming up with an outline, writing the rough draft, proofreading, grammar checks, things like that. So I'm kind of spacing it out, and then I'm going to delegate. Okay, today maybe I just want to do the brainstorming and I want to do some research, and then tomorrow I'll continue doing some research and then maybe start doing an outline. So you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to write this 10-page paper right now. You're thinking about just one small part of the big project. The reason why the Pomodoro technique works so well is because it reduces those feelings of overwhelm that so many of us have when we're faced with a big project that we have to do, or just really anything that we don't want to do. We're just thinking about everything that needs to get done. So if you tell your brain, okay, brain, I'm just going to focus on doing some research for 25 minutes, that's all I have to do. Then after that I get a break. That's going to be a lot more appealing to your brain rather than telling your brain, hey, you need to sit in the library for 5 hours and crank out this 10-page paper. Your brain's not going to want to do that. This makes it a lot less overwhelming, which reduces the likelihood that you will procrastinate. If you're not a student, like I said, you can use this technique in your everyday life. I just used it to meal prep. I have a full day. I am out of the door at 6:30 in the morning. A lot of times I don't come home until maybe 7:30 to 8:30 at night. So I have absolutely no time to cook healthy meals, and eating healthy is really important to me. What I do is I meal prep. I buy all the groceries on Saturday, I meal prep on Sunday, and then I have food ready for the whole week, and it's something that I don't have to think about. What I did one weekend when I was meal prepping, I set aside some time to just research recipes that I wanted to use and write down all of the ingredients I needed to go shopping. So I broke that up into one Pomodoro. And then the following day, what I did was I used one Pomodoro segment that was about 25 minutes just to get all the vegetables out. I use a lot of vegetables in my cooking and cut them up. So that was about 25 minutes. And then I gave myself a little bit longer. It was about an hour to do the cooking of the vegetables and then add in some other ingredients. And then I think I gave myself another half hour just to put some finishing touches. And then I gave myself a half hour to do some cleaning. And I think that was maybe 2 half-hour segments. So all in all, it took me maybe about 4 hours or so, including researching and doing all the meal prep. It doesn't have to be that long. I just choose to make more complicated recipes. You can make really simple ones, but it saves me a lot of time and overwhelm. I don't want to be thinking on my way home, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? I have to think about prepping all of this food. It's just, I get home, I can eat, I can relax, and then go to sleep. Let me know if you've ever used the Pomodoro technique, or if this is a technique that you think that you might use in your everyday life. If so, leave some comments below. I'm really interested to hear your feedback, hear your thoughts on this technique. I'm always learning, and I think that there's probably other ways I can use it that I'm not using it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. Take care. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.